Hello guys, Khuram here. Welcome back to my channel, and I have been producing a series of tutorial videos on marketing analytics with Python. And this video I'm going to show you how you can predict high value customer through the help of classification algorithm, which is known as logistic regression. So we are going to predict high value customer with logistic regression, and why it's important, you may ask me. Because classification help marketers predict who's likely to spend more, target premium offers effectively, and optimize marketing ROI, which is return on investment. So in order to do that, first of all, we are going to classify data based on some total profit value. We will either classify it as a high value customer or it is not a high value customer, and store a value 1 or 0, denoting 1 that is a high value customer, 0 means it's not a high value customer. Now you understand the logic behind how we are going to create a uh, custom column. Now let's move on and import the libraries here. So the most of the functions and methods that we are going to apply will be used from sklearn library, which is a robust library in terms of statistical analysis. And here, first of all, we are importing the function train trust test split that splits the data into training and testing type. So you might be able to first train the model, and after training the model you might be able to test the model with the testing data. So this is here just to split the actual data set into training and testing. Then we have the actual logistic regression that will enable us, which is a machine learning model from scikit-learn used for blinding classification problem. It's not a, it also used for multi classification problem as well, but right now in our case the classification problem is binary. And then we have some evaluation metrics such as confusion matrix, which we are going to study in a bit moment, and accuracy score, how effectively our model predicted the actual value. So this is the code to develop the custom column. As you can see here, we have like this segmented column known as high value, and we are kind of creating a logic behind here to fill its value. First of all, we have created a boolean uh, index by writing df total profit should be greater than df total profit median value. So where we have created a boolean value, the boolean column that will return either true and false, and the number of true and false will be depend on the length of the data frame. So here we have like the true and false values come as an output argument based on like whether the current existing value of total profit is greater than the median value of total profit. If that's true, then that true would be converted into integer value. When we convert it into integer value, that will correspond to 1. And where we have like false value, that will be converted into 0. So this is how we create a custom column in our data frame. So if it's true, it will be turned into 1 by the help of this as type integer, and if it's false, it will be turned into 0 as type integer. So this is something it will look like. High value column would have 1 zeros in it. Now once we have created the custom column, now let's move on and actually define the features that will be used in order to predict the model. So here the features are three things: age, subsequent order count, and total value of all profits. So these are the independent features that will be enable us to predict the dependent variable, which is high value customer. So here y is x is the features and y is the target variable, that dependent variable, the outcome that we want to predict. Now once we have those x and y set in place, now we are going to apply this train test split method function that takes number of input argument. Obviously, first of all, it takes the features and the target variable, and after that we are setting test size is equal to 0.3. It means that we are keeping 30% of the data for testing purpose, and remaining 70% of the data would be used for training purpose, and only we have random state 40 is equal to 42, which is for reproducibility. Now by doing that, we are actually populating the value of x train, x test, y train, and y test. Now let's move on and then call an object, create an object from the class logistic regression by using this statement. Once we have initialized the logistic regressor, now with the help of this statement, we are applying the method fit and passing s train and y train as an input argument. This will train the data set, and the model will learn the relationship, the weights between features and the target value. Now, once we have that model being trained on training data set, what we would like to do, we would like to test it with the testing data set. So this is exactly what we did here. So we are applying the method dot predict and passing x text as an input argument. In correspond to that, it will give us the predicted values and stored it in y predict. So here in our case, we now have like v test, y test, which is the actual values, and y predict, which is the predicted value by the logistic regressor. And based on that, we can actually calculate the accuracy, which is 0.9, that is 90%, which is quite a good accuracy. And we can also visualize the confusion plot, so which kind of give you the false positive, true positive, true negatives, and false negative. So we can happily see the diagonal elements are quite high in size, while the other one, like 410 and 499, are quite low in size, which correspond to the accuracy itself. So in order to visualize this confusion plot, what we can do here, we can apply the same thing, the same function, and pass two input argument, which is the actual y value and the predicted y value. Based on that, it will have a matrix, and we can create a heat map based out of that matrix using this statement. And finally, that will enable us to have this beautiful looking confusion matrix. So you, in this particular tutorial, you learn accuracy gives model performance, confusion matrix source true versus false prediction. We can use this model to segment the customers that and predict based on the characteristics for the unseen data, that we are able to highly target those people that are high value to the business. So I hope this tutorial have been helpful. If you have any question, feel free to write down your comments. I will be happy to help you out. Peace out, have fun.